Good afternoon, folks. You are very welcome to Bandido Talks. Well, it's Wednesday. It's midweek. We've had a couple of really good shows already this week. It's been all things Epstein files. On Monday we had Sir Keir Starmer, Lord Mandelson. We dealt with all of that. The big debacle at 10 Downing Street. Then on Tuesday, yesterday, we talked all about King Charlie, Prince Andy, and about how King Charlie is very concerned about what he has seen in the Epstein files. And of course over on Rumble, because the Bandido is over on Rumble as well, we've been talking a little bit about Epstein files as well. So it's been a very Epstein file heavy week on the show. And so I was thinking about today's show. And I tried to put myself in the shoes of the audience. And maybe the Bandido Talks audience is feeling very depressed. Maybe they've been looking at the state of humanity. They've been looking at all of this information in the Epstein files. They've been thinking all sorts of different things about how the world is truly run. Are we being governed by pedophiles? Are all of these weirdos in charge of the world? Are we being governed by lizard people? Do we have time-traveling humans? Did Epstein actually represent a time-traveling human who went back in time? Maybe there's a big global satanic cult that sacrifices children and eats their fecal matter. I mean, folks, look. Some of the theories and some of the things that we've been hearing from the Epstein files, it may have got you all very depressed. And so the Bandido thought he would do his service to humanity. He thought, you know what? There may be a whole bunch of folk out here who are feeling down in the dumps. They feel like their life is miserable and shit. They are looking at the Epstein files. They are coming to all of these interesting conclusions about how the world is truly run. And maybe everyone, even the Bandido Talks audience, even though we try here to extract lessons, we try to find the useful bits and pieces from stories, from events, from people. Even the Bandido Talks audience, maybe even they have been kicked to the ground and they find themselves cowering in a corner, depressed at the state of the world. And so this is why we are going to have this show today. Are you feeling depressed? Well, let me tell you, if you are feeling depressed, you are not going to get any sympathy from me. The Bandido is not going to throw you any sympathy whatsoever. And it's probably worth reminding you that most people on the planet don't give a shit if you are depressed. They really don't. And so you then have to ask yourself, what is depression? Why am I depressed? Is it really to do with the Epstein files? Is it really to do with the Epstein files? Or is it to do with something else? And I am using the Epstein files as an excuse to put myself into a demoralized, depressed state. Which one is it? So we're going to talk about this today. We're going to talk about mental health. We're going to talk about depression. And we're going to piss all of you folks off. All of you depressed folk who seem to really enjoy being depressed. The Bandido is on a mission throughout this show to try and piss you off. That's my goal. Depressed people who are watching this, I hope you've been lured in by the thumbnail. Because I'm going to piss you all off. because you aren't getting any sympathy from the Bandido. No depression exists here on this show. The Bandido isn't depressed. The Bandido has a good idea what exactly depression is. You always fear what you don't understand. Isn't that right, folks? If you don't understand what something is, fundamentally, then you tend to be more anxious about it, more fearful. You don't know what you're dealing with. So hopefully throughout the show, this whole idea of mental health, depression, we are going to try and work our way through this. It's a bit of a let's reflect show. It's not really a concrete news item. We sort of have had a couple of news on the tube episodes this week. So let's reflect now and see if we can learn something about mental health and depression, and perhaps why the Bandido has no sympathy for you if you are depressed. We're going to get into all of that, folks. But firstly, let me remind you, if you like what you hear on this live stream, feel free to like the live stream, give it a thumbs up. If you are joining us live, get into the live chat, interact with the show. Your engagement is welcome. Of course, if you are watching this live event after it has concluded, get down into the comments, let me know what you think about everything that we will talk about. And then finally, folks, if you like, in general, here what we do at Bandido Talks, then feel free to subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. Not only is the Bandido live here on YouTube, but he's also live over on Rumble. So again, use the scrolling black banner below to direct yourself over to Rumble after the live show here, of course. Subscribe to Bandido Talks over on Rumble. Subscribe to Bandido Talks here on YouTube. You will be notified of all of our live shows, all of our uploads, and whatever else we decide to get up to here on the channel. So subscribe here on YouTube, over on Rumble, as well. And with all of that out of the road, folks, let us truly get into this afternoon's show. Mental health and depression. You know, we've seen all of this stuff, as I've already said, from the Epstein files. And I thought it would be a good time to give all of you a toe in the hole to realize what it is that we are talking about when we say mental health or depression. Now remember, the Bandido is a dipshit. I hope you read the disclaimer. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a dipshit. It's entertainment purposes only here on Bandido Talks. I hope you are entertained in our little Let's Reflect segment. But let's see now. Depression. Let's just get the obvious stuff out of the road first. What is depression? Depression is nothing other than what we are going to call failure feedback or negative feedback. I'm going to use these two terms interchangeably. Depression is nothing other than failure feedback or negative feedback. They are the same thing, but I'm going to use them at different times throughout the show. So that is all depression is. Depression isn't this mystical process. 1 minute you're happy. So on Tuesday, you're feeling top of the world, and then mysteriously, you wake up the next morning and you're depressed. Depression is like the flu. It's like a virus. You can just catch it. That's what people try to make it out to be. People try to make it out like depression is this thing, like a virus that you just catch. It just hits you out of the blue. And before you know it, you're a depressed mess. Well, I'm afraid to inform you folks, that is not what depression is. Depression is not this garbage about a chemical imbalance in your brain. It's a chemical imbalance. It just happens for some reason. Nobody knows why it happens. You just wake up and you have this chemical imbalance, and now you're a big depressed slob. It just happens. Nobody knows why. You just catch depression. It's like a dark cloud that just hovers over you. And you don't know, it's like an invisible dark cloud. And it just hits you. And all of a sudden you're depressed. And when you're depressed, I mean, what do you have to do? You need to go to the psychiatrist and get some psychiatric medication. Of course, that is absolutely the correct thing to do. Of course, that's the right thing to do. Nobody knows how depression happens. And of course, when this mysterious thing called depression hits you, what do you have to do? Well, I need to go to the psychiatrist and get psychiatric medication and alter my brain chemistry like a dipshit. Yes, that is of course the right thing to do. Psychiatric medication is of course the perfect antidote to depression. It's exactly what you should do. Psychiatric medication is part of a health-promoting diet and lifestyle. You should, of course, be taking psychiatric medication if you have depression. Obviously. Duh! Clown world is what we live in. Folks, depression is not this mysterious thing that just hits you out of the blue and that requires you to take psychiatric medication to restore the balance, the chemical balance in your head. That is not what depression is, and that is not the antidote to depression. Surprise, surprise. Depression, folks, is nothing other than failure feedback or negative feedback. Let me give you an example. We're going to clear this up, get it out of the road here so we understand what we are dealing with. Then we're going to get to the lesson here. So here's an example. We're going to conjure up a fictional person. We're going to call them Patsy. So here we have Patsy. Patsy is a 25-year-old young man. Now, let's say Patsy has got a couple of job interviews lined up this week. So Patsy's unemployed currently, and he really wants to get a job. He wants to earn some money. And so Patsy has organised a couple of job interviews for potential jobs. Makes sense. So Patsy goes in on Tuesday. He has his first job interview. He sits before these two people who are cross-examining him, trying to assess him and figure out if he is the right person for the job. Patsy finishes the job interview on Tuesday. He leaves, and the people who were assessing him said, "Very good, Patsy, we'll get back to you by the end of the week and let you know what the story is, if you have the job or you don't." Patsy leaves. Great. Patsy has another job interview on Wednesday for a different place of employment. He goes in and he goes through the same process. He sits before two more people for this different business. They cross-examine him, they finish the interview, and they say the exact same thing to Patsy. "Thank you very much for your time, Patsy. We will let you know by the end of the week if you've been successful or not." Fantastic. So Patsy leaves his Tuesday interview and his Wednesday interview. And he now has to wait. He's going to have an answer by the end of the week. Now, it goes without saying, Patsy obviously, as I've already said, wants to get employment. He wants to be employed. He wants to have a job. He wants to earn money. So Patsy's goal is to become employed. That is why he is going to an interview. He wants to acquire that post, that particular job. So his goal and his ambition is to become employed. So it comes to Friday, and Patsy gets a couple of phone calls. The interview that he did on Tuesday, he talks to some gal, and the gal says, "I'm sorry, Patsy, you were not successful." Failure feedback, negative feedback. He didn't qualify. The people who were assessing Patsy came to the conclusion, no, Patsy does not qualify. He doesn't meet criteria for this job. So Patsy gets a phone call and they say, "Patsy, you haven't got the job." Negative feedback, failure feedback. Patsy failed. Okay. So Patsy feels a bit disappointed. He feels a bit disappointed that he didn't get the job, okay. 2 hours later, he gets another phone call. Hi, Patsy. It's another gal who was cross-examining Patsy from his Wednesday interview. And she says to Patsy, Patsy, I'm sorry to tell you, but you didn't get the job. Feel your feedback. More negative feedback. Patsy didn't qualify again. So we can see here, Patsy has went to 2 job interviews. His goal and his ambition is to qualify. He wants to qualify for the post. But the people who were assessing Patsy at these 2 different businesses decided, no, Patsy doesn't meet criteria and he doesn't qualify. He doesn't have what it takes to be an employee at this business. So he got rejected. What happens when we get rejected, folks? Rejection equals failure feedback, negative feedback. So Patsy sits back and he feels a bit deflated, disappointed. He failed. He got rejected by both employers. So Patsy's feeling a bit down in the dumps. What do we call this, folks? What does this mean? He's a bit disappointed. He's deflated. He's down in the dumps. Call it what it is. He's depressed. He's experiencing some form of depression. Why? Because he got failure feedback. He got rejected. Now let's take this a bit further. Let's imagine Friday evening. It's been a bit of a rough Friday for Patsy. He's just been rejected by both of his potential places of employment. So Patsy wakes up on Saturday morning. And let's say Patsy has a girlfriend. And let's say Patsy's girlfriend is called, oh, I don't know, Anna. He's due to meet up with Anna. So he's feeling a bit down in the dumps. In other words, he's feeling depressed because he's still unemployed. He's just received failure feedback because he's been rejected in terms of acquiring the job. His potential employers rejected him. So Patsy goes and meets up with Anna on Saturday. And as he meets up with Anna, he sort of detects that Anna's feeling a little bit off. And then Anna drops the bombshell news. She dumps Patsy. Failure feedback. Negative feedback. So Anna dumps Patsy. What do we call this? He's been rejected. He didn't qualify. Only this time, he didn't qualify for a romantic relationship with Anna. Initially, he wasn't qualifying for work, for employment, for trade. So there was one domain that Patsy got rejected in. He got rejected in the domain of what we're going to call trade or business or work. It gets to Saturday morning. And what has happened? He gets failure feedback in a different domain. Romantic relationships. Anna dumps him. In other words, what does that mean? He gets dumped. He got rejected. He didn't qualify for the romantic partnership with Anna. So Patsy has now got more negative feedback or failure feedback. He failed to secure this mate, this romantic partner. He has been dumped. How do you think this makes Patsy feel? It makes him feel even more depressed. Now let's imagine we get to Sunday. So Patsy, he's been rejected by 2 employers and his woman Anna has just dumped him. Now he gets to Sunday and he rings his best mate, Pete. So Patsy rings Pete and Patsy's feeling really depressed now. He's feeling really down in the dumps. He's received so much negative feedback, so much failure feedback in the last few days. So he wants to talk with his mate, his best mate. Now, he meets up with his best mate, Pete. And it turns out that when they meet up, Pete has a confession to make. Pete has been shagging Patsy's woman, Anna. And he tells Patsy, Patsy, I have to be honest with you. I had the hots for your woman, and I've been banging her. Sorry, mate. Feel your feedback. Pete doesn't want to be friends with Patsy anymore. Pete tells Patsy, Patsy, I had to choose between you and Anna. Either I end it with Anna and I be your friend, or I stick with Anna and I give you the heave-ho. I'm choosing Anna. Sorry. We just can't be friends. I want to be with Anna. Feel your feedback. Patsy has just lost his best friend to his woman. He's just been rejected by his best friend. He doesn't qualify for the friendship anymore. Feel your feedback. So he's got failure feedback in the trade or work domain. Failure feedback in the romantic domain. Failure feedback in the friendship domain. And then to top it all off, Patsy's really depressed now. He's unemployed, failure feedback from all of his potential employers. His woman has dumped him, has shacked up with his best mate. His best mate doesn't want to be his friend anymore because he had to choose between Anna and Patsy. Anna's making him choose. He chose Anna. Bad enough all of this negative failure feedback. But then what happens? Patsy's really down in the dumps. And because he's so depressed now, he's not really paying attention to his surroundings. And so what happens? There's a big grating on the footpath. A grating on the footpath. And Patsy doesn't realise that the cover of the grating is open. And so he's walking with a big depressed head on him, and he accidentally falls down the grating. And he breaks his ankle. Now he is in tremendous pain. And you see, Patsy really likes to run. He's a big runner. He really enjoys running. He enjoys intense cardiovascular activity. But you see, now Patsy has broken his ankle, and he's in a lot of pain. Failure feedback. This time he's getting failure feedback from his body. His body is giving him negative feedback in the form of pain. And now Patsy can't run for 2 months because he's got a really bad broken ankle. And so by the time Patsy gets to Sunday evening, is it a mystery why Patsy is depressed? Did depression just hit Patsy out of nowhere? A mysterious cloud of depression just started to alter his brain chemistry and give him a chemical imbalance? Is that what happened to Patsy? Is that why Patsy on Sunday evening is really depressed? Do you think Patsy doesn't know why he's depressed? Do you think it's a mystery? Holy fuck, folks. Of course there's a good reason why anybody is depressed. Now, obviously, if you're on psychiatric medication that's altering your brain chemistry, that can make you depressed in itself. But let's imagine you aren't on mind-altering drugs in the form of psychiatric medication or some other wacky drug. Let's imagine your system is clean and we're not mucking around with brain chemistry. If you're just like a normal person who doesn't take drugs or isn't a drug addict or isn't drunk, and you're depressed, do you think there is no reason for the feeling of depression? Do you just think depression just happens randomly? You dipshit, of course it doesn't. You are depressed, not for some random reason. The universe isn't picking on you and trying to make your life miserable. No, depression is a feeling. It's a signaling mechanism to tell you that your strategy in life is not working. It's a very important feeling and signal that your brain sends you. It's normal and it's natural. It's not a fucking chemical imbalance. It's a signaling mechanism. Depression happens when you receive negative or failure feedback in one or multiple domains of life. What are the main domains of life? Number 1, romantic relationships. Number 2, friendships. Number 3, trade or work. And number 4, your health. If you are receiving negative or failure feedback in the romantic domain, in the friendship domain, in the trade or work domain, or in the health domain, you are going to experience some degree of depression. Now, if you're like Patsy and you're getting negative or failure feedback from all 4 domains, then it goes without saying. The degree of depression that you are experiencing is far higher than someone who is only experiencing negative or failure feedback from 1 or 2 domains. There is no mystery to this. Depression is not random. Depression is a natural signaling mechanism of your brain. It is your brain's way of trying to signal to you that you need to change your strategy in life. Something isn't working. So your brain says, here is the feeling of depression. This feeling of depression is supposed to signal to you that you need to change something in your life. You need to analyze the 4 main domains of life: romantic relationships, friendships, trade and work, and health. You need to analyze those 4 domains, and you need to figure out, am I getting negative or failure feedback from one or multiple of those 4 domains? And if you are getting negative or failure feedback, then you need to solve the problem. You need to work towards solving the problem in the specific domain where you are getting negative or failure feedback. You do not need to take psychiatric medication. That is not going to get to the root of the problem. There is nothing wrong with you. You don't need psychiatric medication. Depression is normal. It's a normal signaling mechanism. It's supposed to happen if you get negative or failure feedback. It's normal. You don't need psychiatric medication because there's nothing wrong with you. What you need to do is you need to identify which of these 4 domains is the domain in which you are receiving the negative or failure feedback. And then you need to address, why am I getting negative feedback? Why am I not getting the woman that I want? Or why am I not getting the man that I want? Why am I not holding on to my friendships? Why do I not have a lot of friends? Why am I unemployed? Why do I not have the ideal job? Why is my health shitty? Why am I getting pain in my body? If you are getting negative feedback from one or multiple of these 4 domains, you need to go to the root of the problem. You need to figure out, why am I getting this negative feedback? A psychiatric drug doesn't solve the problem, dipshit. Okay, so now we know what depression is. I hope. It's not a mystery, it's just negative or failure feedback in one of the 4 domains of life. In our example with Patsy, it just so happened that Patsy was getting negative feedback or failure feedback in all 4 domains. And as a result, the severity of his depression was far greater than someone who wasn't getting as much negative feedback. The solution doesn't lie in psychiatric medication. You don't have a chemical imbalance in your head. There's nothing wrong with you. This is an evolutionary mechanism to signal to you. Depression is an evolutionary mechanism so that you understand where you stand in life. If you didn't get depressed when you were getting negative or failure feedback, then you would never know that your strategy is failing. That's the whole point of depression. It's supposed to signal to you that you are failing at life. If you didn't get that signal, then you would go, whoop-de-doo, I'm just going to continue doing what I always did. And you never make any adjustments. Depression is there to guide your behavior. If you're losing at life, you're going to feel depressed. It's not a fucking mystery. Okay, so now we know what depression is, I hope. And this fits into the broad category of mental health. Mental health. You need to watch out for your mental health. Have some psychiatric medication. Don't bother solving the root of the problem. Now, what's the problem here? Well, here's what the problem is. In 2026, it has become culturally, within the culture, it has become an admirable thing to admit that you are depressed. What do I mean by admirable? What I mean is, you actually get credit, especially if you're a man. Because remember, men don't show their emotions. Men should be more emotional. Men should be like women. They should cry and show their emotions. You know this garbage that we hear? Yeah, well, in 2026, you actually gain admiration. You gain esteem. You gain credibility. If you as a man especially, it's still the same for a woman as well, but it's particularly pronounced for men. If men admit that they are depressed, if men say that they are struggling with their mental health, society rewards them. Everybody goes, well done, Patsy. You're coming out and showing your emotions. Good on you. Men should show their emotions more. Men should cry in public and bare their soul for everyone to see it. Holy fuck. Society, 2026 culture, rewards men and women, but particularly men. It actually rewards men. Men get credit for opening up their emotional state to the world, for admitting they are depressed, for admitting they struggle with their mental health. Culture actually rewards people for admitting that they are depressed. Clown world. And we all know this. I'm a musician. And I can't tell you the amount of musicians that come out nowadays. I'm going to have to cancel my tour because of my mental health. Holy fuck. Slap. Slap. The amount of musicians, I'm going to pick on musicians here, and actors, and these celebrities, because they are the greatest proponents of all of this garbage. They are the vehicle that sells this notion to you, the public. We've got all these musicians and actors and celebrities. Musicians in particular. I had to cancel my tour. Sorry, I know you had bought your accommodation and all of that, and you were planning your flights and you've your tickets bought, all of that, but my mental health needs to be addressed and I need to take time away because I'm depressed. fucking dipshits. And believe me, this is no accident, folks, that you have public figures and celebrities selling you this notion that depression is a good thing, selling you this notion that engaging with your mental health is really important. You should open up your soul to all the world so that they can see your inner emotional state, especially as a man. It's no accident that you're being sold this garbage. In 2026, everybody is very aware of this. This is the great laugh. The schemers. Humans are schemers. It doesn't make them bad people, but everybody's always looking for opportunities to exploit. And believe me, most people in 2026, they are very aware that if they say that they have a mental health issue, or if they say that they are depressed, most of these people know that they are going to get credit for coming out with this. They know that people are going to look sympathetically upon them when they come out with this. They know that they are going to be given a bye-ball for certain behavior if they come out with this. Let me give you a good example of this. If you don't believe me, listen to this example. Do you remember Hugh Edwards? Remember the guy with the BBC who would read the news anchor from the BBC? Hugh Edwards? Do you remember him? Go look him up. Hugh Edwards. For those of you that remember Hugh Edwards, you might remember that he was involved in a little scandal in the last few years, which resulted in him being removed from the BBC. Do you remember what that scandal was? This very rich and famous news anchor with the BBC, telling the news every night. Well, Hugh was caught sending naked pictures of his big fat hole to minors. Apparently. Let that just sink in for a second there. Hugh Edwards, an establishment stalwart with the BBC, this big, rich, famous, well-known news anchor, he was caught sending pictures of his naked arse to minors. Now, of course, this was a scandal at the time, as you could imagine. We've got this big public figure, and the BBC is who he works for. And of course, Hugh Edwards, as a well-known news anchor, he has been talking about, Jimmy Savile and Andrew Tate being a human trafficker, and the Tate brothers, they are really dangerous people, and Jimmy Savile, he'll talk about Jimmy Savile too, Jimmy being a pedo, and he'll talk about the Tates in the same breath. Call them human traffickers, trafficking minors. This is Hugh Edwards. He gets on the news every night and reads all this out. And here is Hugh taking pictures of his big naked hole and sending them off to minors. Hypocritical, folks. And of course, what happens? There's a big scandal. Hugh loses his job, but he gets a nice retirement sum to go off into the sunset. We'll not talk about that. He gets a nice pension. So he gets removed from the BBC. And of course, this is a big scandal because the BBC, of course, is sort of forced upon the public. If you have mainstream television, nobody asked for the BBC. The BBC is just funded by the government, it would seem. Or is it? No, that's right. It's funded by the taxpayer. The taxpayer didn't ask for the BBC. Oh, no. But you see, the government uses the taxpayers' money to fund this media organisation that nobody wants. And you see, this anchor, Hugh Edwards, worked for this organisation. and he was involved in some inappropriate behaviour, we might say. And so he gets removed from his post at the BBC. And he sort of has this very handsome pension to ride off into the sunset with. We'll talk about that maybe another day. And of course, it was a big scandal, and everybody was outraged at what Hugh was doing. And of course, what happened? What did Hugh say? My mental health has been badly affected by all of this. Please leave me alone, everyone, because I need to take care of my mental health. I'm feeling depressed. Remember Philip Schofield? This is a different broadcaster, ITV. He was involved in some inappropriate stuff too. I'll let you go and look that up also. And he got sacked by ITV. And of course, it was a big scandal again. Misconduct with a minor, it would seem. Allegedly. And Philip Schofield lost his job as well. And of course, when the public started to ask questions, what did Philip Schofield say? Oh, my mental health! Just please. My mental health has been so badly affected by this scandal that I put myself into because I was involved in some inappropriate stuff. So even though I brought this all onto myself, Hugh and Philip brought it all onto themselves through their interesting behaviour with minors. And what did they do? Oh, that's right. They played the mental health card. The get out of jail card. The depression card. And this is the beef that I have with mental health and depression. Because you actually get rewarded, especially as a man in 2026, for coming out as being depressed or for coming out as struggling with your mental health. Lewis Capaldi, he's another musician. Shawn Mendes, another musician. My mental health, I can't tour now, so I'm just going to have to take care of me, TLC for me. It doesn't matter whether you're Lewis Capaldi and Shawn Mendes as musicians who have mental health problems, or if you're Hugh Edwards and Philip Schofield. Everyone can play the mental health card now. And you know what the beauty about the mental health card is? It gives you a Bible. It gives you an excuse for your behaviour. And it allows you to acquire all of this sympathy and all of this esteem from the public for doing fuck all. It's lazy. It's a lazy, scheming, sneaky way to get credit and status in 2026. And everybody knows it. The first sign of trouble in someone's life, what do people do? My mental health. Yeah, I set fire to your house. That's right. I went into your house and I lit your house on fire. And oh, it looks like I'm going to go to prison. My mental health. And when you get into court, this criminal prick who tried to burn your house down, what will he submit to the judge? A mental health plea. That's right. It's a get out of jail card. People use it. People use this crap about depression being this mysterious thing that just hits you like a train for no reason. And this broader bollocks idea of mental health. What's the lesson here, folks? Well, let me tell you what the lesson is. Don't fall into the trap of using this fucking garbage get out of jail card, what we're going to call mental health. Don't fall into this trap. And I'll tell you why you shouldn't fall into this trap. Because in this life, folks, you want to earn your way to whatever success you have. You want to earn it. Earn it in the right way, doing the right things. And all of these cop-outs, all of these people that whenever the shit hits the fan in their life, they are looking for an excuse. They are looking for a get out of jail card. They are looking for a reason not to take responsibility for their own life. They are looking for any reason to absolve themselves of anything that has happened in their life. In other words, they don't want to take self-accountability for anything. Don't look to blame other people. And also, don't look to blame depression either. Because if you are one of these people who is watching this and you're depressed, don't blame depression for the reason that you're in this state. Depression is a normal signaling mechanism. We've talked about this already. What you need to do is not blame depression as being this unfair, unjust thing that the universe has bestowed upon you. Don't blame depression. Don't try to make an excuse for why your life is shit and miserable. Because that's what you're looking to do when you play this card. See, whenever you play the mental health card, you are looking for an excuse. You're looking for an easy way to get out of jail, to acquire sympathy and esteem from people, to feel sorry for you so that you have a Bible, so that you don't have to work hard for what it is that you're going to earn in this life. You're just looking for a shortcut. In other words, you're a cop-out. You're absolutely selling out. Don't do that. If you are depressed, what you need to do is not blame depression, not blame the universe. You need to look at the 4 domains of life: romantic relationships, friendships, trade/work, and health. And if you are experiencing negative or failure feedback in any one or multiple of those domains, you need to solve the problem in those domains. If you can't get a woman, you need to look as a man and say, am I in the best physical condition that I can be in? Am I acquiring and defending as many resources as I can acquire and defend? Am I in optimal financial circumstances in my life? Am I doing everything to get the most out of my genetics in terms of my physical attractiveness? It's the same for the women. Are you doing everything to look as attractive as you can? Or are you a fat slob carrying 50 pounds of excess weight? Solve the problem. If you're having issues with your romantic endeavors, control the controllables. Sort out your physical appearance and start getting some money in if you're a man. And be in a position where you can provide for a woman. Where you can demonstrate evidence of acquiring and defending resources. What about friendships? If you're struggling with your friendships, analyze why. Why do you not have a lot of friends? Why do you not have the right friends? Are you swimming in the right circles? Are you in with the right crowd? Are you finding people that overlap with your goals and ambitions? That's what you need to do. If you're struggling with your friendships, you need to start fishing in the right locations. There's no point in going to a river that has no fish and then wondering, why have I not caught a fish today? I've thrown my hook out into the water, but I haven't caught anything. Yeah, dipshit, because you're fishing in a river where there are no fish. If you want to find friends in the friendship domain, you need to start fishing where the fish are. You need to start finding people who have overlapping goals with yours. People who have a worldview that overlaps with yours. You share common ground. Start there and see how your friendships go. What about trade or work? Well, you can't get a job. Right, well, what skills do you have? What value can you offer to the world? Where are you best directing your time and energy and your skills? If you are really good at, I don't know, if you're really good at organizing and you're really good with writing up letters and memos and you're really good with typing up emails, in other words, you'd make a really good secretary, or an administration person, if that's where your skills are, why are you going and applying for an engineering job, you dipshit? There's no point in applying for an engineering job if you don't have the skills of an engineer or the knowledge of an engineer. Look at what your skill set is. See how it is that you can offer value to the world, and then fish where the fish are. Look for jobs where you have skills and value to offer to that business or employer. Don't be applying for jobs where you don't have a skill set, or you don't have knowledge, or you don't have the wherewithal to acquire that knowledge. Sort out the problem. What about your health? Why are you in pain? Again, are you fat and overweight? Have you got a problem? Have you got an injury that you haven't rehabbed properly and you're getting negative feedback from your body because there's tissue damage somewhere? Figure out where the pain is. Figure out how to solve the problem. That is what you do if you are depressed and if you have mental health trouble. You look at the 4 main domains of life and you figure out, well, how well am I doing in each of these 4 domains? And if I'm not doing so well in one or multiple of them, well then that's where I need to be focusing my attention. Not blaming other people, not playing the mental health card. I'm depressed. Feel sorry for me, everyone. Give me resources without me having to invest any time or energy. Look at me, poor me. I'm depressed. Life has dealt me a poor hand. It's not my fault. It's the universe's fault. It's someone else's fault. The universe has a beef with me. It's not on me. Please help me. I'm a helpless, poor, wee depressed human. Don't fucking play that card. Don't do what these idiotic celebrities do. Or what Hugh Edwards or Philip Schofield do. Don't be that person who stoops so low to play the mental health card. Because you know what? You see, if you are depressed, see if you play the little get out of jail mental health depression card, that isn't solving the problem. Dipshit. That's why you're getting no sympathy from me. You're not solving the problem. You're looking for a cheap way to get credit and sympathy. And you're looking for it's a lazy way, hoping that someone else will solve your problems in life. Reality check, no one gives a shit about you. No one's going to solve your problems. So don't be lured into this deluded notion of playing this mental health card. Yes, I understand that 2026, it's a very popular thing to do. It doesn't solve your depression, dipshit. If you want to solve your depression, you need to go to the root of the problem. And you need to start critically analysing the 4 domains of life and seeing how well you're performing in each. And then it's funny. You see, if you start to perform a little bit better in the 4 domains of life, the depression just miraculously starts to disappear. All of a sudden, that chemical imbalance starts to rectify itself. Without the need for psychiatric medication. That's correct. The lesson here, folks, is don't play the mental health card. Don't do what the celebrities do. All you are doing when you play the mental health card is you're being lazy. You're being lazy and you're looking for sympathy from other people. And you're looking for this sympathy because you're hoping that other people will solve your problems in life. Why are you looking for other people to solve your problems? Because you are lazy. It's on you. You are looking to absolve yourself of responsibility for your life. You're looking to take no self-accountability. You know the only person who's going to lose out if you do that? You. So if you're depressed, you ain't getting any sympathy from me by playing your fucking mental health or depression card. If you've watched this live stream from start to finish, you should understand that there's nothing wrong with depression. It's a perfectly natural signaling mechanism. It's trying to tell you that you need to change something in your life. You now have a decision to make. Now that you have this information, if you've watched this live stream, you have a decision to make. Am I going to play the mental health card and look for sympathy and look for people to solve my problems for me? Or am I going to take action and solve the problems myself, get to the root of the problem and take some accountability for my own life? That one's on you. And I can't do anything about that. Nobody else can make you do anything about that either. You have to take action. So anyway, depressed people, if you're watching, no sympathy from me. If you want to continue to play your depression and mental health card, you can go and play it to someone else, because you ain't getting any sympathy here. And it seems like the Bandido isn't getting any comments in his live chat either. I was looking at the live chat out of the corner of my eye. Let's have a look and see. Is there anyone in the live chat? Let me get this little chat up here. I don't think there is. There doesn't look like there's anyone in the live chat. Well, by Jesus, the Bandido's been just rambling into the abyss. But that will draw our show to a close, folks. Again, if you liked what you heard, feel free to give the stream a thumbs up. If you're really pissed off, give it a thumbs down. Maybe it'll spark you into action. Who knows? Leave your feedback, get down into the comments section, let me know what you thought about everything that we talked about. And then finally, folks, feel free to subscribe to Bandido Talks here on YouTube. I'm going to head over to Rumble right now. We've got a show over on Rumble. 6 p.m. Irish time. Go over to Rumble. Use the scrolling black banner below. You can direct yourself over to Rumble. I'm going to do another live show over there right now. Lots of live content, folks, here on YouTube, over on Rumble. Subscribe here on YouTube. Subscribe over on Rumble. That is everything this afternoon from me, folks. I will be back here tomorrow afternoon, 5 p.m. Irish time, here on YouTube. It'll be the final show of the week. I hope you can join me then. If you're not going to join me over on Rumble, enjoy the rest of your evening. And that is, folks, over and out from the Bandido.